When we do, it tends to be really extraordinary. And in this case, it's something that will become a family heirloom and a family collectible for generations to come. You've all seen that iconic ceramic tree. I remember mine from growing up that my older sister went to a ceramics class and created. Well, this actually predates that by several generations. This is not ceramic, this is porcelain. And it comes to us from Lenox. There are two boxes that are iconic American boxes. If I were to walk in the front door with a specific jewelry box of a robin's egg color, my wife would know that store before she ever looked inside. Well, if I walked into the door with a red box, it would have to be Lenox. Lenox was founded back in 1889 by a gentleman by the name of Walter Scott Lenox. He chose his location for his factory and his art plant as Bristol, Pennsylvania, because of the river that flows through that town. And in that day, the waters were so clear and so pristine that it made his porcelain look as fragile as eggshells, but it was as clear and beautiful as any American porcelain had ever been. Our today's bonus buy price is $69.98, when this has a retail value far exceeding our QVC price of $85. Now, the way you order it according to the bulbs. And you may not be able to tell in my bright studio light, but these do light up. So it's going to be an iconic figure for your home wherever you choose to put it. We have clear, I have a multicolor, and I apologize that I don't have it out here to show, but I have a photo of it right there. That's the red. Oh, it's on the indoor set. Wonderful. These stand 11 inches in height. Every single one of these is hand painted. They are precious. Let me bring another friend in. And the only problem is I don't get to see Ellie King until we get to the Christmas season. I rarely see Ellie during the summer. Ellie has been our representative from Lenox for many, many years. She's broadcasting live from home. You already have the stockings hung. You're ready.
Of course. Yeah. Hey, and I was just on QVC.com last night buying gifts.
Were you? Great.
Yeah, my one son's almost done.
Yeah, I know you were on last hour with Terry. That was a great show. So thank you for coming back so quickly and helping me with this. Everyone knows the ceramic trees. What's the difference between porcelain and ceramic?
Well, the reason that I love porcelain, and I've said this so many times, I use porcelain dishes, have been since my kids were little. I love porcelain because of its strength, its durability, it's chip resistant, but it's also lightweight. So it's not something that's difficult to pick up, that's too heavy. But the strength and the durability of porcelain is so important because for so many of us that collect Lenox, we love to pass it down from generation to generation. So I always say our porcelain items from Lenox, they're built to last because we know people want to keep them in their families for generations.
It looks like eggshells. It really does.
Right.
Now listen, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, Ellie. My mother had a passion for Lenox. Now she didn't have a lot of pieces. We didn't grow up with much, but the pieces she had were prized. But they didn't sit in a cupboard or behind glass. They sat out on display. And with 5 kids, you would think they'd all be gone. They're not. All of the ceramic pieces that we had in our house eventually have become broken, but the Lenox is still there because it wears like cast iron. And it has this wonderful luminescent quality to it that it glows from within. And each one of these tiny little bulbs is placed by hand. Each one of the holly, berries, and leaves is painted by hand. And I find it so interesting that even though it was the same mold that was utilized on whether you go with the multicolor or go with the clear or go with the red, the tree completely changes personality according to which lights you choose to purchase. And then we go to the top. That's pure gold painted onto that star. That's a
Yes,
nice touch.
isn't that beautiful? I love that touch. And I feel like that's that Lenox touch that everybody knows when there's that touch of 24 karat gold.
I think this is the ultimate gift. If you know someone who loves to decorate for the holidays and you give this as a gift, it comes in a beautiful red Lenox gift box. You will be reminded of every year at Christmas for the rest of that individual's life. And this will take a place of prominence. It may be, that's Ellie's fireplace right there. That's a gorgeous fireplace, Ellie. And I love that you have
Thank you
more than
so
one of these out.
much. Right. I know. So with these trees, I feel like you can never put too many out. And I think it's fun to have all three choices. And if you have a long dining room table, you could put all three in the center or up on the mantle. I was telling Terry earlier, one thing that my family and I love about the Christmas season is walking into a dark home, but with the lit tree, the
Yep.
lit pieces on the mantle,
Yep.
it creates this really wonderful, cozy atmosphere. And I feel like the light that each of these have is just enough light. You could even use this as a nightlight in a child's room because it does have the 6 hour timer. So it'll turn off after 6 hours.
It's Lenox. You know,
Right.
Lenox has been the company that created the flatware that has served countless number of American presidents at the White House. Lenox has pieces that they created that are in the Smithsonian Institute. Here's a chance to have that same exact quality either as a gift that you provide or in your own home. And this is iconic. Everyone knows this tree. And I love Mr. Christmas and Leslie and her family. But what they do in ceramic, that started in the 1960s. This type of porcelain tree, which by the way, if we go back to the original days of 1889, when Walter Scott Lenox started his company, only the massively wealthy would have had a Lenox piece like this in their home. Most people would not have been able to afford it. But now they're affordable. And our price on this of less than $70, I hate to brag, but yeah, even Lenox doesn't sell it for this price. This is already gone on Lenox's own website for this holiday season. So I wouldn't wait for it to go up to the QVC price of 85 bucks when today, as a bonus buy, you can pick it up for several dollars less. Real quick note, because Ellie, I've seen you broadcasting from home 100
Yes.
times. I never noticed that you've got the same stone floors in your old farmhouse that I have in my kitchen. Those stone floors have vanquished more dinner dishes and glasses and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and iPad faces. Stone floor is not a smart idea in a house like you and me have. What year was your
but it
house
looks
built?
great. Mine was actually built just 7 years ago,
Okay.
but we used old barn pieces and we found old stone. So everything that's used is actually old
Oh, that's
because
fantastic.
we really love that look. Yeah.
Yeah. I joke we couldn't afford a new house. Our house was built in 1790.
Oh, I love
1790.
those old homes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them.
Well,
Well, Dan, when I look at this, speaking of older homes and old traditions, I always think of my grandmother. I think you had mentioned your sister actually went to a ceramics class
yep.
and made something similar to this. That's what my grandmother did. And I can still remember. Now, hers had to plug in, so
Yep.
we always had to be mindful of the cord. But with these being battery operated, you have complete decorating freedom. I love the idea of sticking these in the corner in the bathroom to add a little bit of light, the mantle, a dresser, maybe in your hutch where you have some of your china, because this does have that #1 holiday pattern
Yep.
that so many brides register for. This will match that. But it's a great size and a great way to add a little bit of light and a big statement without taking up too much space.
This is actually really interesting. When a company can create an iconic trademark for themselves on something so simple as a holly berry and leaves, or mistletoe. This is, as you said, this is the exact same pattern that's been used by Lenox for decades and decades and decades. The original tree that my sister did had a 60-watt light bulb in it, and the darn thing got so hot you couldn't touch it.
Oh, that's the truth.
Do you remember?
It got really, yes. In fact, we had strict instructions: do not touch Grandma's tree.
See, that's the
difference
between your parents and my parents. My dad would go, let them touch it. They won't do it twice. My dad was the type of guy that to teach you how to swim, he would throw you in the lake while the other kids were skating. He was mean. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They are beautiful. I'm going to put you on the spot because we've got three. We've got the clear, we've got the multicolor, we've got the red. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, I do. In fact, I'll grab it. Okay, so up here on my shelf, this is my favorite. This is the multi. So when we decorate our family tree, we get a real tree, and it's covered in ornaments that I made, my husband made, and now that the kids have made.
Nice.
And we do multicolored lights. So this to me just screams fun, tradition. So this will actually be all over my mantle this year. I'm going to take 3 of these and put them in with my garland on the mantle.
Okay.
And then my oldest boy, it was really cute this morning when I was getting these out and set up, he saw the red tree and he went, "Oh, Mom, I love that tree." And he's a 14-year-old boy. And he said, "Can I please have that in my room?" And I thought, well, you know what? That's a great idea. Everybody can have whichever is their favorite in their room, and we'll put that 6-hour timer on, and they have a little bit of light in the night.
How crazy that. Did you have a tree in your room when you were growing up? I was very fortunate. I didn't until I was probably about 14, and my mother had like a little 3-foot, the tree was like made out of tin foil. It was that silver foil.
I know what you're talking
about. Yeah, it was a wooden dowel with holes in it. That was it. And you would put the sprigs in, and it was a sad tree. But to have a little tree in my own room was like the coolest thing. So I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah. A lot of people are going back to the office, even if it's hybrid, maybe going back a couple days per week. Are you going to decorate your cubicle or your office with a little bit of holiday spirit this year? I think all of us are really looking forward to this holiday. You know, the pandemic did a lot last year to bring our spirits down. And yes, we're still going through it, but I think we have a greater sense of hope for this holiday season than we certainly did last year. So I think we're embracing this feeling of decorating once more. It's going to be a fun season, I hope.
I think it is too. And I get the feeling, I've been hearing this just from people sending me messages. Everybody is wanting light. They're wanting light everywhere, in the mantle, in the hutch, in the bathroom. There's light everywhere. And like you said, I think there's something about that light that gives us a sense of hope, a sense of excitement, even if it's just a little bit of light coming from a tree.
Yeah. We've already had over 500 people on the phone lines. This is a today's bonus buy. I wouldn't wait on this. Give you an opportunity to save some money. It's sold out at Lenox. It's already gone. Yeah. And by the way, Lenox was charging more money for it than we are. So you're getting the same iconic piece. Hang on to that box. That box means a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it does. It means, and I always tell everybody, just put a bow on, because when they see the red box and then that name Lenox, that's all you need to get a good reaction.
If you check out the words "today's bonus buy," you'll have an idea of what things are available at great sales.